3, 2, 1, 0.
Folks, the small hand is on the 7, the big hand is on the 12. It's Monday night, which means it's time for Monday Night Nerd. I hope you are all doing well. I am doing good. I am really tired, I'll be completely honest with you. It was a very, very busy weekend getting ready for next weekend, but we'll get into that in a bit. Hope you're all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Corp Cosplay. I'm a cosplayer in the Southern Ontario area. This is my podcast. We talk about nerdy things like movies, music, cosplay, wrestling, comics. I talk about personal stuff, and that's kind of what we're doing today, and a whole lot more. Hope you're all doing well again, and let's jump into the news. If you've been following the past couple weeks, I've been trying to change things up here on the podcast a bit. We've been doing obviously a live show on YouTube, but I've also had a little thing over here in my phone sitting here talking to the folks on TikTok, because if you are not a social media person or a marketing person like I am, which is my real-time day job, if you were to go live on Instagram, they send out a notification, they're supposed to your followers, and that's it. If they see it, great. If they don't, whatever. That's all the people that ever get to see your stuff. If you're doing on TikTok, though, if you're on for a long time, TikTok will keep feeding your live stream to new people, so they discover you and you get more of a fresh audience, which is great if you want to be discovered. So for the past couple weeks, I've had my phone there, and I thought, why not do the podcast and just say, if you guys got comments and stuff, swing on over to the YouTube page and we can talk about stuff if you got a comment or a question. And that's kind of what's been going on. Well, that is until Saturday. And what happened on Saturday? Well, Mike did a bad boy, and I got a strike on my account. I was very surprised when it happened. What was happening, I was live streaming on TikTok while I was working at the bench, getting some stuff ready for next weekend, and someone asked what I had been working on. And I said, well, I'm working on Gambit, and I'm working on Chell from Portal. And they said, last time you were on, you were working on a skull. And I said, oh, you're probably thinking about Ghost Rider. And they said, no, it was Red. And I went, oh, that's Red Skull. And I said, I've been working on that. And he said, how is it so far? And I said, well, I've been working on it. I said, here's the skull. He said, you were working on something else for it. I said, yeah, I was working on this. And I pulled out the pistol that I had made for it. And I said, by the way, for anyone who's watching, this is 3D printed. It's not real. Trigger doesn't work. Everything's it's all fake. Don't worry or anything. And my screen goes dark. And they cut my stream. And I get a notification saying that I had broken one of their guidelines, and I now have a strike on my account. The strike basically was that I was marketing or promoting guns, and somehow that was a bad thing. And they have an appeal process like every other social media thing, and just like every other social media thing, they don't monitor it. They don't really care. So I appealed it, and in 3 minutes, which I knew they didn't watch the video or anything, it was denied. So I now have a strike on my account. And what does that mean? Well, that means I can't stream live until tomorrow, 3-day ban. And I had to answer 5 questions about their community guidelines. And after 14 days after answering those questions, the strike could be removed. May not. I don't know. But yeah, I will admit that night I was really frustrated with the app because, to be completely honest, I've been on TikTok. I am someone who produces some content for it. I should probably produce a lot more. I've noticed, though, with that app that is very inconsistent. When I'm posting things that everybody is saying to post, like green screens, like using popular music, popular trends, I don't seem to get the traction, but then I'll randomly get a video spike that will do really good, and then it will drop again. So there's nothing consistent, at least on YouTube and on TikTok or on Instagram. I can see a consistency. Like, I know the podcast will do so many views. I know the short Q&As that I've been doing only get a certain view, but that's more for the Google side of it. And then when I do funny videos, they seem to do better than everything else, which is fine. I understand they push shorts more. And Instagram, I know the podcast posts don't do well, but I know funny videos that I do well. So I see a consistency on these platforms, but TikTok I've always been off and on with. So is it surprising that it happened? A little bit. Am I, down in the dumps about it? No. Like, it's just another reason why I get frustrated with that app. Whatever. It happens. I've had a couple people reach out saying, yeah, that's happened the same with them. Somebody said their Keyblade got banned. Like, they got strike for that because they're like, it could be a weapon. Like, I don't know. So yeah, so that is why we're not on TikTok. Next week, we will be back talking about what is happening this weekend. We will be back on TikTok doing that. We only got one little bit of news. I'll be completely honest. Tonight's episode is probably going to be not a long one. Like I said, I have been exhausted. I have been working all weekend on stuff. I worked all day today. When I came home, I worked on some stuff. So I've been super busy. And so this might not be a long episode, but we do have one little key bit of news that has to do with gaming, which I'm super excited about. Used to have on my wall there, but is now tucked in the corner because I got to find a place for it. I'm a big skateboarding fan. I shouldn't say a big skateboarding fan. I'm a skateboarding fan, and that's because of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I was the kid who had a whole ton of tech decks. I can't skateboard to save my life. I love all the designs on the boards and such. I loved all the Tony Hawk games growing up. I love Tony Hawk's new one, the 1 and 2 remastered, and now we're officially going to get 3 and 4 remastered, which I love because I had number 1 and I loved it. I didn't play number 2 that much, only because I was into other games at that point. I liked 2, but it wasn't my favorite. 3 and 4 are like the ones I remember the best, so I'm really happy to have those being remastered. And the one thing that a lot of people were asking is a certain person going to be in this? Because they said they're going to have the same cast of characters. However, one person, Mr. Jackass Bam Margera, has had some problems recently with legal and substance abuse and a whole bunch of other stuff. And the rumor going around was that he was not going to be involved. He was not going to be in it. His first game was actually number 3. So they were like, he's got to be in it. But people were saying, nope, because of all his issues and such, he will not be in it. Well, yesterday, the man himself, Tony Hawk, came out and said, that was the original plan. However, I stood up for my buddy, Bam Margera, and said, Bam has to be in this game because he is one of the most popular people. So Tony has told us Bam is now officially going to be in the game, which is good. I hope he gets a little bit of residuals off the game because I think he deserves it. He's been going through a lot of trouble. He was at one of the cons that I volunteer at last year or the year before, and everybody said he was great. So maybe it's just, the environment he's in or something, but I didn't hear any problems with him, so hopefully he's doing well, and I hope this gives him a little bit of a boost in his life to get back on the straight and narrow. So it is going to be exciting to have 3 and 4. It is going to be great to play those and have Bam back in it. When it comes to current gaming right now, I'm trying to think. What am I playing? Oh, I'm replaying Lego Batman 3 because I realized all the Lego games that I played on PS3 have new versions or re-release versions digital on PS5, and they all have new trophies. And I will admit, I am a trophy whore, completely honest. I love trophies. I have way more trophies than I need to get. I think I'm at around 9,200. I've told my wife I want to get to 10. I want to get to 10,000, and then I'm going to take a big break because I can't play as many games as I used to. I used to just play games all the time, and we'll get into that later on in the main topic. But yeah, I'm super excited to hop into those. And so I'm playing Lego right now. There is a movie that I would like to have done a review on, but unfortunately I did not get a chance to. It is a horror movie, so I started watching it while my wife was out. However, she came back and I did not get to finish it. So after this podcast, I'm going to finish the movie, and we will be reviewing it next week. And spoiler, I might as well tell you, it is the new Candyman. I've been wanting to watch it forever, and now I have, and the first half has been really good, so I'm excited to see the last of it. Only other news on the bucket right now is Toronto Game Expo is this weekend, March 29th, March 30th, at the exhibition grounds in Toronto. It is going to be such a good weekend. We're going to have so much fun, and that is what I've been doing all bloody weekend. The portal gun is finished. They're on the floor. I've finished the boots for Chell from Portal. I just got to assemble them, which I'll probably do tomorrow night. The new Gambit pants are there. We've made some changes on those. The new cards are done. As of hopefully Wednesday night, we will be completely done cosplaying and just getting things packed up for the weekend. I'm super excited. There's kind of a group chat going on right now, getting excited and, talking about what it's going to be like. Freakish Workshop and I will be doing a panel on the Saturday at 2:30 on the main stage. We'll be talking about EVA Foam 101. We have gone over what we're talking about. It is going to be a very basic 101 panel. Like, it is not going to be too in depth, only because I think we only have 45 minutes and we want to leave 15 minutes of Q&A. If we get there and we run through half an hour of it and there's no questions, we'll just keep talking, but we want to definitely leave it open to you guys to give us some questions that you might have, because we could talk for hours about foam, but we know we only got a limited time, so we're going to keep everything very light, very high level. If there's anything you guys have that you have more detailed questions or want to know about certain techniques or something, we will be at our booths all day long, except when we go over and bug the living shit out of the Geeks & Co., because why not? That's the fun of it. But yeah, this Saturday and Sunday in Toronto at the exhibition grounds, Toronto Game Expo. It for the news. Not a lot this week. If you guys are still here, I greatly. If you could hit the like, hit 3, 2, 1. If you could hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and all those things, it would be greatly appreciated. It lets me know that you like this show and that I should do more of them. When it comes to our sponsor, as always, you guys know this. The sponsor, as always, is my beautiful, loving, incredible, amazing wife, especially this weekend, especially this year, because I'm going to 14 conventions and I'm cosplaying out the wazoo and doing content for YouTube and social media and everything else. So I'm spending a lot of time doing content and building cosplays, and I don't get to see her as much. But I will be making that up to her next year when I slow down a bit, and we're going to have a lot of fun. And when I do get the time, I love her so much, and I know she has got my back on so much. So, hun, you will always be my sponsor. You know that. Okay, let's jump into the main event. We're only 13 minutes in, folks. Like I said, I got a feeling this is not going to be an extremely long episode. I will not be keeping you long, but I think this is important. I think this is a topic that I have had in the queue for probably a year, if not longer. I know some people don't like going on watching the show because of, the personal episodes, because they're not things that they can really relate to. But this is a topic I think I definitely want to talk about, because when you think of addiction, I think a lot of people think of the ones that are the stereotypical ones: alcohol, drugs, and really, addiction is kind of just being dependent on something and not being able to survive without it. And while some people may look at my addiction of pop and soda as not, a crazy, as a crazy addiction, like I wasn't pumping it in my veins or anything, it was still an addiction. And it was something that I was very I wasn't cognizant about until I kind of hit a wall, and I realized that, like, man, I can't function without this stuff. Like, there were definitely times where I would slow down and I'd maybe like I wouldn't have one for a couple hours, and like the tank my body would take would just shock me to the point of, okay, I gotta have another one. And that's when I realized, like, wow, this is really, really an addiction, and it's really bad for me. So let's kind of kick into the start of this. Like, how did this happen? Let me give you guys a little bit of a background. I come from a divorced home. I live with my mom. I saw my dad on the weekends. It was nothing wrong with my childhood. I can't say anything bad. But I was given a lot of freedom. And I don't know if it was really, I think it was good intentions, but I think at my age now, I definitely think I should have been pulled on a rein a little harder. I kind of I don't want to say I ran the castle at home, but when I said no, I was pushed back on some things, but not a ton. And at my house, I always had pop in the fridge, like always had cans in the fridge. And when I'd go with my dad, we would probably go out for lunch. We'd go to the movies or something, and we would get pop. Like, it would just be always available. I don't like milk, so milk was not a thing growing up. My mom always got homogenized, which is hilarious because I never liked the taste of homogenized, and not every girlfriend, but like the girlfriends I had that were long term that I would go to their place, they also had homogenized. So I never was able to taste like 2% milk or anything like that until I met my wife, and then she got it the one time, and I was like, this stuff ain't that bad. And she's like, yeah, this is what milk tastes like. I'm like, not where I'm from. That's not my milk. So it was, I never drank milk growing up. Water was not something I regularly drank. I would drink juice once in a while, but not a lot. So it kind of became like pop all the time without even really realizing it. It really got bad when they shouldn't say got bad, but became a regular thing in my teens. So would go to school, I'd probably have a glass of orange juice or something in the morning. I would come home for lunch because I lived close enough to the school, and I'd have a pop with lunch. And then I go back to school. I would then get a pop when I came home and had dinner. And then I would either go up to my room and, watch TV or something, or go down the basement and watch wrestling or something, and I'd have a couple pops. So even in my teens, I was drinking 3-4 a day. And the only other thing I'd be drinking is like an orange juice in the morning, or honestly, I can't think of anything. Maybe a Gatorade, like nothing, no water, no nothing like that. And it just became like the always available drink. And I think that's one of the things that I really want to stress when it comes to if anybody watches this and is like, oh man, like that's not a real addiction. It's an addiction, and it's probably, I don't want to say it's worse than anything like drugs or alcohol, but like drugs and alcohol at least have a stigma. Like they at least have you can't do it in public. It's really hard to get. Like, you have to go to a store to get alcohol. You have to go somewhere illegal possibly to get drugs. Pop is everywhere. So, like, home, pop's easily available. Friends, pop's easily available. Going to a store, pop's easily available. Like, everywhere, it was just pop, 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 pop. And I remember vaguely watching a documentary or something about, like, I think it was Japan, and they had the vending machines, and it was like different flavored teas, and like the ice rink, like you go get the cup and they put the hot chocolate in it or something. Like they had ones like that of iced teas and stuff like that. So, and we never had those here. It was literally just pop, water, Gatorade. Like that was the three things that were easily available. And it's also cheap. It was cheap. It's stupid expensive now. I am more than happy that I kicked this addiction when I did, because it was just when the time when pop just started to skyrocket in price. Like, you used to be able to get a $2 2-liter of cola, and now it's like $4 some places for a 2-liter bottle. And I was like, I'm killing a case, 2 cases in a week. So I'm so glad I don't drink that anymore, because we'd be broke if that happened today. But yeah, it was just easily available and it was cheap. So yeah, like I could go to Dollarama in my 20s and get a the 1-liter bottles for $1 or less than $1. And that would just be the easiest thing to drink. And when I hit my 20s, that's when it got bad. Like, it got bad. And I didn't realize it. I realized it, but I didn't realize it. So, when I was in my 20s, I had a lot of freedom. I really didn't have to work. I had some outside things that didn't prevent me, but just gave me the life of not having to work and not having to make a living. I was still living at home. So I had a lot of free time. So because after I graduated, I didn't go to college. I just kind of wanted to enjoy life. So at that point, I was, what was I? I'm trying to think. I must have been probably 22 when I got my first job. And I thought that would help. I thought that would be, okay, like I'll work a job, I'll make some money. Probably the worst time to work, because I'd work night shift. So I would get to work for 3. I would have lunch at work. So I'd have a pop. I'd wait for dinner time break, have dinner, have a pop, probably grab one to go on the way home, get home, leave work around midnight, get home around 1, get a pizza or something on the way home, and probably have 3 to 4 cans playing video games. And so by that point, I've had probably 7, 8 pops in a day. And it would just, it became such a cycle. And it wasn't till probably 24, probably 2 years straight of doing that. And I remember sitting there kind of not feeling great. Like, just stomach was just turning. And I couldn't understand why. So to help with that, I'd have a pop, which freaking brilliant. Because it couldn't be that, right? Like, it couldn't just be, hey, dude, you're drinking so much caffeine, you're drinking so much syrup and sugar. Like, wouldn't do that. And I'd sit there and I would just be in agony. And Thick Mike wouldn't even dawn on him that this was the reason. It had to be something else. So I'd go to my doctor and I'd talk to him about it. And I'd tell him flat out, like, what's your diet? And I'd tell him I drink that much pop. Nothing. Literally, no one connected the dots, which made me laugh. Like, I'd kind of get like that crooked look of like, huh, you drink that much, huh? No, like, you think cutting that might help? No, which makes me just laugh to think, like, that would have been, if I was a doctor, that would have been like numero uno. Like, how about you just stop drinking pop? Like, 99% of the world doesn't do this. You're the one in pain. How about you don't do that? That might cure it. So yeah, like, that was 2 years of just drinking pop over and over and over. And like, I clearly remember kind of going back in my teens, my old bedroom had like, it was a long bedroom, and the one side had like these cupboards, but they only went so high. So I sort of had like a shelf to put stuff. I clearly remember several times where I would just stack empty cans in rows. Why I didn't bring them downstairs, I don't freaking know. But I would just stack them like 8 to 10 deep and I would just wait till like one day I just got frustrated looking at them, and I just bring them all down and dump them in the recycling. Like, again, this is the point where I'm like, I wish my mom and my dad were a little more pulling on the reins, but again, I'm not going to blame them. I should have made these decisions on my own, including the story that I'm going to punch you in the face, realize you have a problem. I went to my buddy's place, and he lives not far from here, and we decided, I don't know why, I think there was like a deal on or something at McDonald's. And McDonald's was like, and I checked it last night just to make sure I'm not over exaggerating, 2 kilometers. 2 kilometers. And we decided to run/jog to McDonald's. Now, my cardio ain't that bad, but I'm not I'm not a long distance runner. I rollerblade in the summer. I'm not crazy athletic. Ran/jogged 2 kilometers in the middle of the summer. So shorts, sweating, get to McDonald's. And what's the first thing I do? I buy an extra large Coke and I down it in like one gulp. Like a moron. So your body has now just used up so much energy and so much water and so much everything. And what does the idiot do? He gets an extra large Coke and just downs it. And I like curled up in the fetal position on the ground. I was so sore. And again, was it the pop? Couldn't be. No. Why would I? Like, so naive and dumb. Like, it's so funny. I remember being a kid and being in my 20s and just like, I'm not an idiot. Like, look at them. They're stupid. And now I look back at 37 and I'm looking at this like, you are such a tool. Like, how did you not realize that? Alex in chat said, not alone. My brother lived off Coke as well. As you mentioned, availability was crazy. Easier to get Coke than water. Seriously. And a funny side note off that, when we went to Germany a couple years ago, we were staying at a hotel, and below the hotel was a Pizza Hut. And we went into the Pizza Hut just because we had been on vacation for about 2 weeks at that point, and we were just like, I kind of want something feeling like home. So they had the chest next to the Pizza Hut that had like all the drinks and stuff. I'm not kidding. It's like beer and one little row of water on the bottom. So the Coke version is still in other countries, but theirs has alcohol. Ours is pop. And yeah, it was just so readily available and cheap that it was just like, that's all I drank. And there were consequences. There were severe consequences that I still deal with today. I had 2 bouts of kidney stones in my 30s. And I'm telling you, man, the German beer is better for you than Coke. That's what I've heard. I've had 2 bouts of kidney stones, man, and I'm telling you, there is no pain I've ever dealt with more than kidney stones. That was like, holy shit. I've never hurt that much. And it was crippling. So that was the first, like, okay, I can kind of figure out what this is. And even when I went, they did the x-ray. They're like, oh yeah, you have kidney stones. Like, you need to cut back on your sugar. So that was the first thought. I can't eat certain foods. Like, I cannot eat certain foods without feeling terrible. Anything with heavy oils, anything with steak, like any steak, steak is getting better, but I still avoid it highly, which sucks sometimes because I do like steak, but I just can't risk it. What else? Those are the big ones. Like, a lot. I have to eat dry if I'm out anywhere. That's the big thing. And I've told other people who have stomach problems, that's the solution that I've kind of come up with, is like anything with sauces, anything with oils, like Italian is no way in hell I'm going to do that in public. There was multiple days, and this may be TMI, like multiple days in the bathroom for hours, consistent, like not get up and go and come back, like hours in the bathroom. And that's just the way it was. And lastly, it probably played a big factor in my anxiety. Like I had anxiety all through my teens, all through my 20s, even a little bit now. I'm a lot better than I used to be, but even now I get it a little bit. Especially if I do have a pop every now and then, I can tell there is a bit of a spike when it comes to anxiety and nerves and stuff kicking in. But diet is the big one. Like there's still foods I can't eat. I am still nervous as crap whenever I'm out with friends. And I know Alex is one of them in the chat. And I don't know if he knows. He probably knows this because I probably told him. Anytime we're going to a restaurant or something, like, oh, like it is the worst feeling when people are like, let's go out for dinner. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to. And it's not because I don't want to hang out with them. That anxiety hits me of like, I don't know how the food's made. I don't know what oil they use. Like it's just, that's why I said I eat dry. Like we went to, actually Alex was a part of this. We went to an Italian restaurant after the one con, and everyone's like getting pasta and stuff. And I'm like, chicken fingers. And it's not because I'm dying for chicken fingers. It's just, it's the safest food for me to eat. And it sucks because I'm like, this is probably amazing Italian. I can't chance it though. Because that could, and it would literally, like if I, say for example, I went out and I had Italian and it set me off, I'm done for the weekend. It's not even like, oh, I'm going to feel like crap and then I'll feel better. No, I'm done. I am done. I'm going home. I'm incapacitated. So that's kind of my, I'm going to go a little bit further, but that's kind of my story of drinking pop. Like I'm not joking. I spent an entire year drinking nothing but pop. I realized it. I was like, I think it was 23 to 24. I drank nothing but pop. And it wasn't intentional. I didn't even realize it until I was at work and someone mentioned that they handed me a water or something because I don't remember why, but they handed me a water and I kind of had that moment of like, when was the last time I had a water? When was the last time I had when the last time I have anything? Holy crap. Like I've drank nothing but pop. And that, yeah, it kind of hit me like, man, like you see those reports of like, this is what your stomach looks like if it's had pop and it looks gross. And I'm like, I've done that for a whole year. What the hell are we doing? Marcy in chat says, maybe you're lactose intolerant. Maybe. I don't know. I don't drink milk enough to really notice. I'm not an ice cream fan. Like I never really, I'm not someone who's ever consumed milk on a regular basis. So even if I am, it wouldn't, like I eat cheese and that's probably the most lactose I eat. I don't drink milk. I don't like ice cream. So there's not many things out there. Cereal, if I have cereal and milk, I'm usually okay. So might be okay. Alex said you just described 2 of my 3 weeks in the Philippines. Had to watch what I was eating the last 2 weeks. Yeah, like when we went for our honeymoon, we went to Disney and Universal for our honeymoon, and there was a little bit of anxiety of like, okay, I'm gonna be somewhere. I'm gonna be in a really warm climate. I gotta watch what I eat, and if I eat anything bad, I'm out of commission. So I better figure out, I got to figure out what to do. And that was when I realized dry. I have to eat dry. We went to a burger place on the boardwalk and I got a veggie burger. And honestly, it was the best veggie burger I've ever had. Like it wasn't a veggie burger like Beyond Meat. It was a veggie burger like when you bit into it, you saw corn and peas and like vegetables, and it was such a good burger. But it was dry. I had lettuce and tomato, onion on. I had no sauces, and it tasted amazing. But that's when I realized, like, okay, this is the only way to do it, because otherwise, yeah, I'm gonna be sick as a dog. So, how did I beat this? Well, first off, freaking patience is number one of how to beat this. And I tell that to everybody. I really had to treat it like an addiction. And again, I know people could look at this who have known people or possibly been through, drugs or alcohol addiction. They might look at this and be like, addiction. But like, seriously, I had to train my brain to think of it like an addiction. And I had to instead go, I can't just say, I'm never drinking Coke again, because I can't say that. That's too far of a distance for me. That's too many days. I have to say, okay, I'm going out for dinner with friends, family, whatever. I'm not going to have a Coke with dinner. When I come home, I might have a Coke. But right now, I'm going to go to dinner, and I'm not going to have a pop. And then maybe when I come home, I'm like, okay, not going to have a pop now. Maybe I'll have one tomorrow. Tomorrow will be good. I'll be fine. And then the next time, it's honestly moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. Alex says sugar and caffeine are considered addictions. 100% they are. I'm not saying they aren't. It's just, I know some people that I've told this to back in the day that were like, addiction? Like, come on. Like, you're addicted to fun. Like, yeah, I get it. Again, it's not, I'm not putting stuff in my veins and stuff, but I literally could not function with it. And there'd be days where when I did that, okay, I'm not having one now, I'm not having one now, I'm not having one now, and I would get severe migraines. And I'm not somebody who likes to take a lot of Tylenol and stuff, because I know that the pain is my body telling me something's wrong, and I don't want to mask it, because then I'm like, everything's fine, glug. Or, if I hurt myself, I want to be like, okay, there's a pain here. Let's figure out why there's a pain. Let's not mask it. But during this, I needed to kind of go, okay, this is an exception to the rule. You have to do this to get through the day. So definitely patience on yourself. Take one step at a time was another one. Honestly, kind of taking one of the times away from, how do I say this in English? One of the times I would have pop, I would take away that time because I started drinking coffee. I never really drank coffee growing up. You shouldn't when you're a kid, but like even my 20s, I wasn't a coffee guy. It wasn't until I met my wife and we got a Keurig. I think someone gifted us a Keurig, and I was like, oh, I guess I should have coffee. And I drink coffee, and now I drink coffee now in the morning. But again, I don't drink a ton of it, and I don't put a ton of stuff in it. I drink black coffee, and I only have one cup in the morning. And even that, it's like a small cup. It's a little bigger than an espresso shot. Some days I'll have a big cup, but traditionally not. But the big thing, and I will go down saying this helped me more than anything, was buying a SodaStream. That was the biggest thing to help me with my addiction. And if you've never owned a SodaStream or don't know what it is a machine that you could buy a canister of pressurized carbon, and you basically make your own soda. And the benefit of this is that what you buy on the side is you buy your syrups in bottles. So you get your SodaStream bottle, you fill it with water, you put whatever amount of liquid or syrup you want into it, put it in the machine, and it carbonates it. Well, the reason this works so well with me is it does not taste as good as Coke. Even if you bought the Coke branded syrups, it never tasted like an actual Coke, which was a good thing, because if it did taste like a Coke, I probably would just dump a whole bunch into it. Number two, I was able to slowly wean back on the syrup, which was so important. So I would start out with, I think it's like a capsule is what a Coke would taste like. So that's what I started with. And then I'd slowly be like, all right, I'm going to do a little less. and a little less and a little less and a little less, a little less. And did it taste like crap? Yes. And that was part of the benefit, was that it's tasted like crap so much that I'm like, man, this doesn't even taste good. I'm going to try to drink something else. How about you just drink water? Because by the time you hit that, you're just drinking water. It's the same mindset I have when I drank alcohol, and I use air quotes drank alcohol because I don't drink. But when I did go drink, my drink of choice was Amaretto and orange juice. But the problem was, I'd go to the bar and I'd be like, can I get an Amaretto and orange juice? But can I get like 95% orange juice and like a smidge of Amaretto? And they'd be like, yeah, it's going to cost you the same as a normal. And I'd be like, yeah, but I still want to taste the Amaretto. And I realized at that point, I'm like, I'm just drinking a glass of orange juice. So just order orange juice. And it's the same thing with the Soda Stream. I would get to the point where I'm just like, I'm just drinking carbonated water. Idiot, just drink water. It'll save you the time and the hassle of having to carbonate it. Alex said, I love my Soda Stream. Yeah, it was so useful to me. Justin in chat says, I used to drink a ton of pop. What kicked the habit was switching to bubbly water. Kind of for me too, but I hate bubbly water. I really don't like carbonated water. So when I got to that point where I got tired of drinking it, I'm just like, well, here's a thought, numbnuts. Just drink pop or drink water. It's the same thing as what you're drinking now. Yeah, that was the big thing, was the Soda Stream and just having patience. My wife really understood that I was like, okay, I need to kick this because A, the price is going up. B, it would be a lot healthier. Now, do I not drink pop? No, I drink pop every now and then. I only drink it at home. But the big thing is I try not to keep it in the house. That is so much better than stockpiling it and being like, if we ever have a party or something, I will pick it up the day of the party, and I don't want to keep it after if I don't have to, because I'd rather not have it in the house, because I will drink it and I will go back to like, all right, I'm going to drink but I don't drink it as much, but I will drink it. Like, I'll be like, all right, one bottle down to, like, if we get the 6-pack of bottles that are like this big, I'll drink one a night. But I know what's going to happen after. So I try not to have it in the house. And yeah, it's something I still have to keep a monitor on, because there was a couple times recently where I had a couple pops, like 2 in 2 days. And I could definitely feel the anxiety start to spike. I could definitely tell I was getting a little more irritable. And I was like, oh, okay, I've had too much. Cut. I also realized Coke and Pepsi affect me worse than like Orange Crush or root beer. I love root beer. And thankfully that doesn't hit me the same way. But yeah, I don't want to go on too much more about, or, repeat myself over and over again. But yeah, if you're struggling with something like this, like, as someone who's been through it and has dealt with the repercussions of it, man, do your best to get out of it. Do your best to kick it, because I feel a lot better now. I'm not 100%. I will fully admit I drink one energy drink a day. So when it comes to caffeine, I get that caffeine kick still. So that's replacing it. All of them are 0 sugar though. So I still have that little bit of a caffeine addiction, but it's a lot better than it used to be. And I don't drink it before I go to bed. But yeah, do your best to kick this, because yeah, like, it is, looking back on it, it took a lot out of me. And I realized today that I don't want to say I missed out on things, but there were definitely times where friends would want to go for dinner or wanting to go hang out with people, and I would just be sick as a dog because of it. And it's just not worth it, man. You're missing out on so many fun things if you're just sitting at home, sitting in the washroom or just laying in bed in pain. And that's another thing. Side effect, panic attacks. Panic attacks like crazy when I was 20. Like 20-ish, 18, 20. Yeah, panic attacks out the butt. Probably played a factor. Probably played a big factor in it, because I was just getting so much caffeine addiction spikes. So yeah, it's I'm so glad I'm on the other side of this. And there was definitely a point in my life where I was like, nope, that's the one I'm never going to be able to kick. Never going to be able to kick. But I realized, like, man, I'm dealing with kidney stones twice in my early 30s. And, you know, my wife is pretty healthy, and I don't want to be that person who's just like, hey, we can't go on vacation because I'm feeling like crap, or, you know, we paid a lot of money to go to this concert or something, and I'm at home, you know, in the washroom or something. So I had to do it for her, and I had to do it for myself because, yeah, it's crazy. I'm honestly lost for words to think about. If I went back to like 25-year-old me, it was like, you're going to be able to kick this. I wouldn't have believed it. Wouldn't have believed it. Would have been like, no. You're going to be drinking this way for the rest of your life. And, excuse me. Man, I'm glad I kicked it. Man. Anyways, that's kind of it. It was a lot of pain and crap. And I guess I'm that guy where it's like, I have to do this. I have to bang my head against the wall 50 times to kind of go like, hey, numbnuts, stop banging your head against the wall. But I'm better now, and I'm glad I have a way healthier diet when it comes to it. So if you're ever going through something like this, you know, you can kick it. There are things out there like the Soda Stream, like alternate beverages. It's so good to have, you know, tea be regularly available, you know, not energy drinks, but like alternate things that you can drink that aren't just water, Gatorade, pop. Because, man, that's all it was back in the day. So that is where we're kind of going to call it. Crystal Light is great. That was another one. I used to drink Crystal Light. That's a good one. Good call, Alex. I used to drink that pretty regularly. But again, I would put way too much of it in a water. Like anytime we get the sticks now for flavoring, I'll usually just do half it. But before I do sometimes I did 2 sticks and it was like, no, probably shouldn't. We're going to call it, because I think that's kind of it. That, yeah, it was a big struggle, and I totally understand that this is not a under topic that we usually talk about. But again, I want to talk about it because there may be somebody out there who's struggling with something like this that they might not even see it as an addiction, because there were points when I didn't think it was, but it was, and I beat it, and I hope if you're going through something, you can beat it as well. This weekend, we are going to Toronto Game Expo on the 29th and 30th, which I'm so happy about. I'm so excited about. Next week on the podcast, we are obviously going to review Toronto Game Expo, which I have no doubt in my mind that it will be nothing but glowing reviews. It will be the complete opposite of our review for Toronto Comic-Con. The week after, however, which I believe is the 4th of April, I will not be live on here. I will not be live on Monday Night Nerd. That is the night that Disturbed is in Toronto, and I will be at the show, and I will be loving hearing them play The Sickness cover to cover, because I'm a giant Disturbed fan. However, we will have a Monday Night Nerd episode. It will, however, be taped. It will not be live. Tomorrow night, at this time, I will be doing an interview with a very good friend of mine, which I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I'm super excited to talk to her. We're going to have a great in-depth interview. She is an actress. I've talked about her on the podcast before. She has starred in Murdoch Mysteries. She was recently on Star Trek Discoveries, and now she has a self-help program that we're going to talk about all of her acting and her new program and a whole lot more. That is Miss Sarah Middich. I know Sarah because we went to high school together. We were friends in high school, and she was the one growing up that I went, she's going to make it. And sure as shit, she did. So we're going to do an interview tomorrow night. I'm going to talk to her about all of her acting, growing up in the Southern Ontario area, and, you know, everything that's been going on with her. And we're going to post that the night of Disturbed, which I believe, again, is April 4th. So next week, we'll talk about Toronto Comic-Con, or Toronto Game Expo, sorry. And then the week after that, we will be talking with Sarah. Again, it will not be live. It'll be taped. But I hope you guys had a great night. I hope to talk to you all soon. I hope to see you at Toronto Game Expo this weekend. Tickets are still available. I will be there with Freakish Workshop, the Geeks & Co., Saphira Cosplay, and a whole lot more. And we're going to have a great weekend. So pick up your tickets so I can see you guys live. And if I don't, I'll hopefully see you next weekend as we talk about Toronto Game Expo. Have yourselves a good night, and we will talk very soon. I love you all, and I will see you very soon. Take care, folks. Hey, thanks for watching Monday Night Nerd. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the subscribe button, like this content, and follow on social media for even more nerdy fun. See you soon.